So a few weeks ago, we were preparing for church, and then I noticed that my little girl's dress, it was like a flower girl wedding kind of dress, had not been ironed properly. It had a few creases, so I asked her to bring it so that I would iron it myself. As I was ironing the dress, guess what? I unfortunately bent part of the organza. For those of you women, you know what organza is. And although my intention at the beginning was to make her dress more presentable and more beautiful for her, I inadvertently bent the dress. And as I was musing over it, kicking myself in the foot for being so quote unquote bending the dress and feeling so bad about it, a realization hit me. There are times when we inadvertently, undeliberately, if there's a word like that, hurt the people we love. It is a part of life. There are times we hurt the people we love when we had not intended from the beginning to hurt them. These are people who would never want. I love my daughter. I would never want to do anything to hurt her. But here I was with a men's dress. And that is how it is in life. So every once in a while, you may find yourself hurting the people you love the most, or doing injustice to the people you claim mean the world to you. It happens. What do you do when that happens? First of all, you need to admit it. That yes, although it wasn't your intention to bend the dress, it was not your intention to have done A, B, C, or D. It has happened. You acknowledge that it happened. You acknowledge that atadeɛ no asɛe. You acknowledge that nyinsɛn aba. You acknowledge that you should have done something and you did not do it, so something else got spoiled. You have to acknowledge that indeed you have caused harm. That is a part a lot of us don't understand. The fact that we did not mean it does not mean that it is not hurting the person you hurt. Yes, you did not mean it, but so you have to apologize, acknowledge that I know this thing will hurt you. I know how this thing will affect you. I know how it will cost you money. I know how it will cost you sleepless night. I know the amount of shame it is bringing you. I know how this is dragging your name into disrepute. I know. I did not mean it, but I acknowledge that this thing has worried you. And then you ask for forgiveness. Some of us, we ask for forgiveness as though it is on us. When you ask for forgiveness, you wait for the person to get to that point where they are willing to forgive. You don't demand it. You ask them for forgiveness, and some people need time to come to terms with what you have done to them, even if you did not mean it. They need that time. So when you ask people for forgiveness, when you hurt them, don't stand on their neck and demand that they forget it as though it's never happened. They may still love you, they may not walk away, they may not punish you, but they need time to come to terms with the harm that you caused, whether or not you intended to. And then, third and most important, you need to do everything in your power to, one, make sure that the thing does not repeat itself. Listen, whatever you did that you did not mean that has caused harm, it is your job to do everything you can to make sure it does not happen, and to go above and beyond yourself to prove to them that you have put every measure in place to make sure it does not happen again. That is your responsibility. You did not mean it, but once it has happened, you have a responsibility. And you need to be patient with the people you have hurt. They would forgive you on their own timelines. You don't demand it, you don't force it. Let us flip the coin. Somebody you really love and trusted hurt you, and they have told you so that they did not mean it. Unfortunately, there's no art of finding the man's construction in the face. There's no magic for you to tell if really Bernard meant to have cheated on you, or if Delali really did not mean to have hurt you. There's no way of telling. And what do? You give people the benefit of the doubt. Extend grace to them and believe them at least the first time. Benefit of the doubt. And then find a place in your heart to forgive and to move on from there. If you don't forgive, you'll be stuck in a place that would gradually kill something that would otherwise have been beautiful and amazing. So you need to find a way to forgive and to let go. And if you cannot do it by yourself, ask God for help. After you have learned to forgive, after you have healed and you have moved on, you observe this person, observe their patterns, find out if really they have put measures in place to ensure that whatever they did that hurt you in the first place would not happen again. It is not about what they tell you, it is about what they are actually doing about it. You need to find out. And then again, you need to observe patterns. Somebody does something to you, they hurt you, and they tell you that they did not mean to hurt you. It was a mistake, it was or something, temptation, whatever, and it has happened. Don't forget that there may be consequences of that mistake, whether or not they meant it. He never meant to have had that affair. It happened, and now there is a child that you both have to deal with, and now there's a court case that you have to contend with, and now there's a sick child. There would be a consequence that you both have to deal with. If truly you have forgiven, now you join hands with this person to find a way to deal with the negative consequences of the inadvertent action. And one of the things you do not want to do is to constantly hold it against them, constantly remind them of how they goofed 20 years ago and how your life has never been against it, and how your life has never been the same again since that night. You need to observe their pattern. They said they didn't mean it, and it has happened. But then 2 years down the line, there's another mistake. And then 4 years down the line, there's another mistake. Patterns over words. The first time he said it was a mistake. She said she did not mean it. What about the second time? What about the third time? What about the fourth time? What about the goddamn fifth time? That is where you set your mind thinking. And that is where you decide for yourself what to believe. And this one will only come with time. Nti ɛyɛ a na wama w'ani ada hɔ. We learned a language that does not depend on words. And sometimes the only way to decipher that language is with the passage of time. If at any point you are in doubt as to what a person's true motives or intentions are, as to whether they meant it or not, as to whether it is their usual way of life, or if it was really a mistake, give it time. There are many instances and circumstances in your life where time is your best friend. There are a lot of things in life that can be your best friend, and time is one of those. But ultimately, never forget that there comes a time in our lives where it is possible that any one of us can genuinely, inadvertently hurt people that we really and truly love.